Good morning, everyone. So it is day 15, Hormone Bootcamp. So we're basically starting week number 3. So a couple of things for anyone who is just now barely following. This is the foundation. This is basically what you want to really practice and master. This is basically the a very similar process to what I have followed to get my energy back up until this point. And so if you go back and watch the videos and basically watch everything that we've done up to this point, you can notice that, if you watch my video on troubleshooting energy, this is basically it. This is basically how I think of energy in the body, how the body gets energy. And I actually linked to a video in the description of this live video. So I recommend you watch that video. I know I've posted it before, so some of you may have already seen it. But I want you to understand that this week, what you're going to be noticing as you take these grass-fed beef organs, what happens is that there is an enzyme, and this is coenzyme Q10. And basically, the way that I think of this enzyme is basically what activates power. Like if every cell of our bodies is a battery, well, that battery, unless it has some sort of conductive material, you won't be able to use the energy. And that's essentially what we took care of during, since the beginning of this program, which is basically mineralizing the body. We're essentially adding conductive minerals to our body. So our bodies are becoming conductive, meaning that any energy that is produced by the cells of our bodies, we're actually able to use it. Week number 2, we basically focused on vitamin D, and you should continue to take the fermented cod liver oil really until you finish that bottle, so you can basically, feel what it's doing to your body. But really, it's basically, I think of it as it's charging up every single cell of your body. It's like the charge that your batteries need. That's basically what that is. So this week, coenzyme Q10, that's what you find in the organs in our bodies. That's where the enzyme is stored in our bodies. It's in our organs, in our liver, our kidneys, our basically like every single organ that we have. That's where we need that enzyme. And basically what it does, it's like that power on switch. So with this, you really are going to have pretty much everything that the body needs to really stay alive. And this is really the difference between feeding your body, where you're just stuffing your face down and filling it up with junk, versus nourishing the body, where you're actually giving the body what it needs to function. And so this is really what I believe is like true nutrition. And so what you're going to see actually later on, the transition from it is, as we start getting into the Ayurvedic herbs, there's this one right here that if you look at it, if you get both, we're not gonna, this is more for anyone who's vegan, who's not going to be taking the grass-fed organs. Then skip forward to the Ayurvedic herbs and the supplements that I recommend for week number 5, and you're going to find this one has the coenzyme Q10. It's the same thing that we are looking for. And so this is basically where I get mine when I am on a plant-based diet and I'm not eating any kind of meat whatsoever. That is my transition. And there are benefits, like I said, to actually going plant-based, but that is for further on down the road. Right now, what I believe is important is to basically help our bodies heal physically, and that's basically what I am sharing with you. This is how this is the process that I followed. This is basically what made sense to me, and so I hope that, this week, as you begin to take these organs, I'm probably going to start getting more messages about really, really amazing levels of energy. If you've already felt energy just from the minerals and the vitamin D alone, trust me, this is actually what will begin to change a lot of things in your diet and in your life. I'm going to be sharing a video where I was learning a little bit about how cells basically heal and or replicate. And, I won't go into too much detail right now. But basically what this doctor was talking about, he was basically researching how to get one cell, to replicate it. So he was basically studying cellular biology. And the simple example that he gives basically is like if you've ever, hit your finger with a hammer and you get this throbbing pain, right? Well, that throbbing pain is basically the body healing itself. And that throbbing pain happens when the body reaches about negative 55 millivolts. It's basically where where the body is healing itself. Now, the key word there is that the body needs to be able to reach that negative 55 millivolts, which is basically it's the energy that is required for the body to actually heal itself. And so when you start thinking of the body in terms of batteries and electronics, which that's basically how our bodies operate. It's basically an electromagnetic field. This is why a lot of this stuff makes sense to me, right? Like I have my electronics background from being into car stereos when I was a kid, being a sonar technician when I was in the Navy, and now like studying sound and brewing and all of this. Like this is why all of this stuff makes sense to me in a very uncanny way. But that's basically what I see happening. And so the coenzyme Q10, the vitamin D, and the minerals combined, this is basically putting together the like the circuitry of your body. Like that's basically what is going on. Once you understand it, and really you don't even need to understand it, when you just begin to do it, it's kind of like if you want light, you just flip the switch on and boom, you have light. You don't need to understand electricity. The same thing is going on here. You need to understand all the details that I'm talking about, but once you do it and you experience it, no one else is going to be able to tell you that the body can't heal itself because you're going to experience it firsthand, just like I did. And you're going to notice that the more you do this kind of stuff, um, you know, the faster your body will heal. When I say heal, I'm not talking just about healing from, like if you hit your hand with a hammer or you cut yourself. I'm talking about full recovery. I'm talking about just getting good sleep so that your body cleans itself out, and that's recovery, that's healing. There is healing from, like, if you work out, if you're exercising, your muscles need to recover. That's healing, right? And in order for the body to do that, it needs to get good sleep, right? So this is basically everything that the body needs for it to be able to do that. So while the body is sleeping, guess what? It needs to be able to reach those levels of, millivolts, basically, to get to that healing, point where the body's actually able to do the work. It needs that energy, right? That's where vitamin D comes in. And it needs the conductive minerals to be able to use the energy that it has. That's the formula, guys. So that's really what you're going to see. And especially when when I put together, I'm going to be doing another boot camp similar to this, but this one's going to be more focused on energy and fat loss. And you're going to see there's going to be a lot of similarities, but this is basically like the structure for everything. This is like what the body needs more than anything. So I hope that you guys really understand like what is going on, but most importantly, I'm really excited for the people who are taking action and actually experiencing this, because moving forward, like literally from here on out, the only thing standing in the way between a good, healthy life and where you're at right now, it's nothing more than consistency and just doing this repeatedly and making this a habit, making this part of your lifestyle. That's really all that is standing in the way. And this is one of the reasons why part of this bootcamp I'm including mindset type of trainings, because I'm telling you, doing stuff like this when the rest of society doesn't pay attention to this, when the rest of society is going out to happy hour and eating dessert and drinking and eating whatever comes their way, doing this kind of stuff can get kind of old. It can feel like you're alone, like you're the only one taking care of your health. And so, really, it's going to come down to leadership. And when I say leadership, I'm not talking about, you telling other people what to do, but really just leading yourself, you telling yourself what to do, you figuring out what is good for you, what is important for you. And that's another form of discipline. But if you start to notice, it's the same thing that we're doing. When we're talking about changing our diets, Guess what? If you guys didn't watch the video, the workshop that I did yesterday, this is basically what I mentioned, and it's the same thing that I talk about. Is you start to become aware of your habits, your current habits, and then from that point forward, you can start to actually plan out what is important, what is actually moving you in the direction of your goals, and that's how you begin to create discipline and improve your diet. The same thing happens in other areas of your life. If you're looking to start a business, guess what? You first need to set a goal. You first need to know what direction you are headed in. Then you start to become aware of your patterns. What are your habits? What are the daily activities that you are doing? And you start looking and seeing, are these helping me move forward? Are these helping me reach and accomplish my goals? And then you basically get out a blank sheet of paper and you start planning out and adding the things that you know are moving you forward. And that is the process. Relationships work the same way. So I really hope that you guys are seeing all of this, because Beer Diet Project is not just for me to help you with your health. I really want to help you improve all areas of your life. So stay tuned, because I'm going to be releasing another video this week for mindset purposes. I know this one, some of you have already seen it, but I think it's so important that it needs to be, it needs to be done this week before I move on to the 4-hour work week, which I know that's one that some of you guys are waiting for. But it's going to be kind of like a primer for that. So look forward for those two videos this week, a special training for anyone participating in the Hormone Bootcamp. Anyone who's not participating in the Hormone Bootcamp, but you want to participate, you can register and watch the replay. And with the replay, that's where I'm going to be sending out some of these other, training videos. The link for that is also in the description of this live. And that's pretty much it. So I hope everyone enjoys this is the beginning of the week. Remember what I've said, and you know what? I don't care if I'm repeating myself here, but it's important. How you start your day. If you conquer the first part of your morning, that's how you conquer the entire day. How you start your week, it's the same way. If you conquer the beginning of your week, if you conquer today, Monday, that is moving you one step closer towards conquering the beginning of the week. Once you conquer one week, you can conquer a month. And when you conquer the month, you can conquer a year. Guys, get ready for that, because 2020, year 2020, it's right around the corner. And I know some people procrastinated. They said, oh, you know what? I'm not going to do this boot camp right now for whatever reason. Guess what? You're already falling behind. And this is what happens all the time with people everywhere. This is basically why people are not where they're at, where they're not where they want to be, because they're always putting things, um, you know, up. They're basically deferring everything. Oh, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. Someday, right? That's basically what happens. So, anyways, that's it for now. Hope you guys enjoy the beginning of your week. Let's go ahead and make some changes to our health. And I hope everyone here experiences more energy this week. I'm excited to hear really some of the success stories that I'm going to be coming from this week alone. So, all right, have a good one. See you guys.